What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to our channel. My name is Harris, and today, as we wind down the spring 2021 anime season, I thought I would go and explain the 14 shows, probably never again, that I'm watching this season, and give a little bit of overview on it, from lowest to highest. If you like these types of videos, be sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below if you've watched these shows and what you think of them. Without further ado, let's get right into it. JOURAN, the Princess of Snow and Blood, is a supernatural historical action anime that takes place during a time period where there's a power called the Tokugawa Shogunate, and within that there's a group of executioners called the Nue. And these executioners defend the shogun from the rebel group, and our main character, named Sawa, is a person who can transform because she has blue blood into someone with better enhanced combat abilities, and the main story is that her family is slaughtered by the rebels, and she kind of wants to go out and seek her revenge. You know, this show isn't exactly great. It's not bad, but like, you know, the animation is very nice. The characters are kind of like uninteresting in my opinion. I kind of wish that the whole entire world building was a little bit better because the setting that this anime takes place seems really, really cool. The main plot, however, it's kind of solved really quickly. You know, she kind of gets her revenge really, really early within the show. And there's a whole bunch of like convoluted twists and turns that makes this anime like really inconsistent to me, and it's just like all over the place. Like I don't even know where we're at and what we're doing still in this anime. You know, we'll kind of see like what happens within the last stretch. Osamake Romcom, where the childhood friend won't lose, kind of suffers from not having a main storyline. You know, there's a whole like love triangle in the series where Maru rejects Kuro's first confession because Maru is in love with Kachi, and eventually it leads into like a really bad revenge plot from both girls. And you know, the art style in this anime is really nice, the characters are really cool. I just feel as though like the characters in the show have really questionable motives that really doesn't make sense to me. And with regards to the main story, it's really inconsistent because the love triangle is kind of like the big aspect in the show, as well as the other aspect, which is, you know, these characters are a part of the film industry. You know, it takes some of that into account, but by no means is this show trash. I think that the show is just very inconsistent and it's just executed really horribly. I know what they were trying to do. It's just, once again, it's not really executed by any good standards. Shaman King 2021 is a reboot shonen that takes place in this world where these shamans are people who can communicate with spirits and ghosts, and there's an entire shaman fight, which is an event that's like a tournament where a bunch of shamans get together, fight, and with hopes to become the next Shaman King. Our main character, Manta, encounters another shaman named Yo in a cemetery, and these two kind of befriend each other, and Manta decides to help Yo become the next Shaman King. This anime is like fine, nothing really jumps out to me a lot. I think that they kind of skip around the plot a lot, and they're just trying to like push plot at us. You know, there's no real character development with these characters that we've been introduced to. And Shaman King has a decent amount of characters so far. I kind of want to see some character development as the show progresses. You know, the fight scenes are fine. They're not really like animated that greatly, in my opinion. Otherwise, right now, I don't really care about the characters or like the show right now. Koikimo takes us into the eyes of Ryo, a womanizing salaryman in his late 20s who almost falls off the stairs one day at the train station when a high schooler named Ichika saves him from falling. He later encounters Ichika at his house, and it turns out that Ichika is his little sister's friend at school, and he decides to use his womanizing skills to woo her, but she shoots him down, and a love emerges as a result of this. He becomes really persistent to try to like win her over. And you know, this anime is really weird in my opinion. I understand what the message is. It's like you can love someone regardless of an age gap, but the main character is just really creepy in my opinion, and I haven't developed any sort of like kinship towards him as I've been watching this series. You know, I'm not really a big fan of this one. Combatants Will Be Dispatched is a fantasy comedy about this evil corporation who wants to conquer the whole universe. So they get this guy named Agent 6, paired up with this android named Alice, and they get teleported to the Kingdom of Grace, where they encounter the inhabitants there, and decide to help them fight against the demon army, while performing evil deeds for their corporation. This anime is okay so far. If I can sum it up minimally, it's like you have Agent 6, mediocre jokes, and a harem of girls. If you like big titty girls and dick jokes, then by all means go watch it. Otherwise, it's mediocre, and I'm probably just gonna leave this show and just go watch Konosuba, because it's made by the same author. Burning Kabaddi is a sports anime about Kabaddi, go figure, which is essentially like Extreme Tag. We follow the main guy, Yoigoshi, who used to be a super soccer legend, started to hate sports entirely, and then he gets recruited to be on the Kabaddi team at school. I think this anime is really good. It's just the thing that hurts it is the fact that it's 12 episodes. I don't think it's enough to fit, the Kabaddi games as well as the training arcs and the development of characters. It has some character development so far, but it's not as much as I would like. If it had more episodes, no doubt this show would be better. Right now, it's just fine. Nothing really breathtaking, it's just super solid. Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro should also be called Please Bully Me More, Miss Nagatoro, or Please Step On Me, Miss Nagatoro, depending on what you're into. It's about this guy whose name we still don't even know to this day. One day he just wants to work on his manga in the library when Nagatoro decides to come up and tease him after she takes the manga away and reads his story. The dude is then teased more to the point where he cries, and every day as they spend more time together, they develop some sort of friendship. This anime is interesting to me so far. The faces that Nagatoro makes are just so weird to the point where I'm kind of conflicted, right? I don't even know if she's cute or is something really wrong with her. So far this show is just full of parts that will make you cringe, Among Us jokes, and there's a dominatrix kind of element to it. It's okay so far. Higehiro, I Shaved and Took in a High School Runaway is about this guy named Yoshida who is out to dinner with his boss and crush, gets rejected by her unfortunately, and then we see him get drunk later, and as he's walking home, he encounters Sayu, a high school girl who has run away from home, and he decides to let her stay at his apartment. Through this, we're able to understand what Sayu's situation is like, so he decides to just let her stay at his apartment to help try to get her life back together. I like the show a lot. The characters are really good, the main character is great, story is progressing really nicely, and the wholesome moments in the show are really, really good. I was kind of worried that Sayu is probably going to develop some romantic feelings towards Yoshida. If that's the case, that's probably going to drag it down a little bit for me, but the show's really good so far. Get ready for this one, it's comfy time. Super Cub is a slice of life that takes us into the life of Koguma, a high schooler who has no friends, no parents, no hobbies, or any goals. As she's riding her bike home one day, she stops by a vehicle shop with the intentions of buying a motorbike. She doesn't have enough money, however, but the shop owner decides to suggest a pre-owned Honda Super Cub for a good price. She accepts the deal, and as she buys it, her world essentially brightens up afterwards. I like this anime a lot. It's very simple, it's beautiful. The main story follows her life after she buys the cub. She's able to do so much more, like get a job, forming friendships, and it's really good to see. The characters have character development. The show is just comfy, chill vibes, and I really like it a lot. It's a sleeper show in my opinion. 86 is a mecha war anime which follows the Republic, which is made up of silver-haired people called Alba, who maintains its 85 sectors behind protective walls. They are fighting against the Legion, which is made up of autonomous drones underneath the command of handlers. The 86 faction is made up of people with different appearances, and they are forced to fight against the Legion. We follow the main girl, Major Vladilena Malize, who becomes the new handler of the Spearhead Squadron of the 86, and she's shunned by her peers for being an 86 supporter, because she wants to fight against the discrimination. She also works with Shin, also known as The Undertaker, who's been the sole survivor of every single squad he's ever been in. If you want to follow the 3-episode rule, this anime is really good in that regard. After episode 3, things get super real, and so far it's been a really good show. The art style is really beautiful, the fights are really good, the 3D models look really good too, and if you want action and drama, this is an anime for you. You should check it out. Tokyo Revengers follows this guy named Takemichi, who peaked in middle school. He had respect, friends, and even a girlfriend. He aged kind of poorly, unfortunately, and he becomes a nobody. One day he finds out that there was an incident involving the Tokyo Manji gang, and it turns out that his former girlfriend and her brother were murdered. Before he becomes victim to a train accident, he flashes back in time to back in middle school, and he finds out that he can alter the flow of time to try to change the course of the future to save his girlfriend's life. If you've seen Erased, this show kind of has a similar premise to it. The show's really good, great characters, good story. The time travel aspect of the show is very simple and to the point, and it's not complicated at all, which I really like. I'm enjoying it a lot, and I just hope that the main guy doesn't get cucked like the guy in Erased did. The final season of Fruits Basket picks up directly after where season 2 leaves off, and so far it's been really good. If you haven't started Fruits Basket, I highly recommend that you do so. It's never too late to start. Fruits Basket is just so good. It's everything that you could ever ask for. What Fruits Basket really excels at is taking its massive characters, giving them character development, and having it flow really nicely to how the main story is progressing. In Season 3, we're getting a lot more character development as the story is unfolding and concluding, but 13 episodes does seem a little bit short in my opinion. I thought we were going to get 25 episodes like the other 2 seasons. Some of the episodes seemed a little bit rushed in my opinion, so I'm kind of afraid of how the later episodes are going to conclude, but we'll see. I still love Fruits Basket. 2 Year Eternity is a supernatural drama which follows this orb, which is an immortal entity that learns more as it's being stimulated. You know, it first turns into a rock, then to moss, then to a wolf, and then to a human. The first episode was really good. You know, a lot happened, but it was surprisingly paced really well, and, you know, as the show goes on, there are a lot of emotional moments in the show, so be prepared, you know, you might cry. I've been really enjoying it so far, you know, it's one of my 2 contenders for anime of the season. Vivy, Fluorite Eye's song is also very similar to Erased and Tokyo Revengers, where Vivy is tasked to stop the AI uprising. She's joined by the AI Matsumoto from the future, and they try to correct events in time to alter the course of the future. I love this show so far, you know, it has a really good plot, really good characters, and the art style is insane, you know, at the very intense moments, the art style kind of changes to a more watercolor pastel look, which has a lot of detail, and I really love it. Definitely another contender as anime of the season, in my opinion. And that's gonna do it for the video today. Comment down below what you thought of the shows this season. Don't forget to like the video as well as subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care.